My name is Ada. I was just a teenager when I met Joy. She was 16 years old at the time, and we went to the same church. But she was different from all the other girls. She always came alone. She never talked much. She always sat at the back, holding her Bible tightly like she was afraid it would leave her. What caught my attention the most were her eyes. They were the saddest eyes I had ever seen. Like she had seen too much for someone her age. Like her heart was tired. You could look at her face and know that something was wrong. But nobody asked. Not even me. One Sunday after church, I tried to talk to her. I smiled at her and said, "Hi, my name is Ada." She looked at me for a moment, like she wasn't sure if she should smile back. But then, she nodded and said, "I'm Joy." Her voice was soft, too soft. Like someone who had been told to keep quiet all her life. I asked her if she wanted to join the youth choir. She shook her head quickly. "No, I can't stay long after church. My stepmother is waiting." That was the first time I heard her mention her stepmother. I didn't think much of it. I just thought maybe she was strict, but something inside me said, keep watching her. That week, I started asking other people in the church about her. One older woman told me her mother died when she was very young. Her father remarried. That's her stepmother she lives with now. I asked, "Does she have any brothers or sisters?" The woman said, "No, just her." I heard the stepmother didn't want her at first, but the father insisted. That stayed in my mind for a long time. A few Sundays later, I saw Joy wearing a long-sleeved shirt, even though the weather was hot. She looked uncomfortable, but she didn't take it off. I sat beside her that day and tried to ask if she was okay. She just gave me a tiny smile and said, "I'm fine." But I could tell she was lying. Something was wrong with Joy. I just didn't know what it was yet, and I had no idea that her life was about to change forever. Joy later told me that everything in her life changed when her father lost his job. Before then, things were not perfect, but they were not too bad either. Her stepmother used to smile sometimes. She used to cook and even help Joy braid her hair. But the moment her father stopped bringing money home, everything changed. Joy's father started staying at home every day. At first, he looked tired and quiet. Then, he started drinking. A lot. Every day, he would drink and sleep. When he woke up, he would shout at everybody. Mostly at Joy. He didn't hit her at first, but he stopped protecting her. Her stepmother's love disappeared like smoke. The woman who once cooked for her and called her my daughter now looked at her with hate. She would slap Joy for small things like not washing plates fast enough or leaving her shoes at the door. One day, Joy forgot to warm the soup before her stepmother came back from the market. That evening, she beat Joy with a broom until the broom broke. Joy told me that when she cried and asked, "Why are you doing this to me?" her stepmother said something she would never forget. "You are not my daughter. I can do whatever I like with you." Those words broke her. From that day, Joy started living like a stranger in her own home. She was no longer allowed to eat with them. She would sit on the floor while her stepmother and father sat at the table. Sometimes they would eat all the food and leave nothing for her. She began to lose weight. Her face looked pale and tired. Her school uniform looked too big on her because she was shrinking. She once fainted at school, but when the teacher asked her what happened, she lied. She said she didn't eat because she forgot. She didn't tell the truth because she was afraid. And then one Sunday, I noticed she had stopped coming to church. At first, I thought maybe she had traveled. But after 2 weeks, I knew something was wrong. I walked to her house that day after church. I stood at the gate and called her name softly. "Joy," She didn't answer. But then, I saw her. She was sitting outside the house, hugging her knees, with her head down. She looked like she had been crying for a long time. When she saw me, she quickly wiped her tears with her hand and tried to smile, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. I walked closer and sat beside her. "Joy, are you okay?" I asked gently. She nodded slowly. "I'm fine," but I could see bruises on her arms. One looked fresh. Another was already turning purple. She looked away and said, "I'm just tired. That's all." I didn't push her that day. I just sat there with her quietly. But inside, my heart was breaking. Something terrible was happening to Joy, and I was going to find out what it was.